what's up, man? You've been giving so much advice around here, you haven't even had time to say hello to an old friend. What's going on?
Hey, Frankie.
I'm kidding. I'm so happy for you, man. You look great. Good to see you. Love the shirt, love the catchphrase. You know, I kind of live by that catchphrase, too, and I've been doing that since day one here. I mean, you know, I'm an AEW original. You guys know that. First ever tag team champion. I've beat the best this company's thrown in front of me, and just wondering, when does the work part begin?
Hello, you're listening to Talk AEW, the official wrestling podcast of GoomaStop.com and TiltMagazine.net. My name is Mariko McDonald, and I'm joined as usual by the ravishing Ricky D.
AKA the biggest fan of Darby Allin.
And Mr. Aaron Santos.
What's up?
AKA the biggest fan of Alexis Bliss.
No. We did not go there. Yeah, sure. Let's go with that for now.
All right, and on that note, I think it is time for Ricky's rapid fire questions.
Yes, listeners, we start the show every week with my rapid fire questions, the questions which you, dear listeners, should know the answers to. So, question number 1, Mariko. Is Elevation the most boring wrestling show to watch in 2021?
I'll be honest, I didn't watch this week. Even though there's matches that I really want to see. Layla Hirsch versus Ryo Mizunami is definitely a match I want to watch. Mm-hmm. But yeah, it's hard to prioritize it, especially with the human what would you call them? Human Xanax that is Paul White and Tony Schiavone's commentary right now.
It's so boring. I mean, for all of those critics who complain about Excalibur, watch Dynamite, watch Dark, and watch Elevation. You're going to see it's night and day. The announcers do so much to bring the show to life. It is so boring. Boring. Dark is amazing. Dark is a masterpiece compared to Elevation. It's not about the quality of matches. I don't care how good the match is. It is boring. There is no energy. It's a wrestling show, for God's sakes.
I kind of get the impression that Paul White is still in his, I need to be super professional phase. Where, I was watching the Sammy blog today, and they had a bit with him and Marco Stunt. Yeah. And it was really sweet. But, every third word out of that dude's mouth is the F word. Let him, have his personality a little bit more. Let him get a little edgy. It's YouTube. I'm sure they can kind of skirt things they wouldn't be able to do on TNN. I mean, you can just listen to the dark commentary between Taz and Excalibur. Yes, it's nonsense, but at least it's interesting.
That's true. I don't want to sound like I'm going to defend Paul White too much, but I mean, it is what it is. And as far as I can remember, this is pretty much his first commentating gig.
You know why I don't feel bad? He's getting paid millions of dollars.
Oh, okay? For sure.
I know you're new. I know you just started, but come on, dude.
Yeah. I'm not. For me, subjectively, I'll admit the first episode of Elevation was a little rough on the commentating end. But he did bring some pretty good statistics. But he certainly does need to have a little more personality when he commentates, that's for sure. I'll give it more time for now. I'll let it slide. Although personally, I didn't watch Elevation either this week, so
it was boring. Anyways, yeah. Question number 2: is it just me, or was the Kenny Omega Matt Sydal match a bit overrated? Also, is it just me, or did Matt Sydal actually win the match and the referee messed up?
I don't remember seeing that, but I really like the match. I thought Matt Sydal came off as amazing. Mm-hmm. I wasn't surprised that he could keep up with Kenny Omega. I mean, Kenny did a lot of work to make him look amazing too, but yeah. I loved all the counters and things. I thought they were really fun to watch. Mm-hmm. with it tiaras getting out of the one-winged angel. There was like a bunch of those, a bunch of hurricane ranas that were really fun transitions. So I thought it was a really good match and a really good way to open the show.
Yeah.
I asked if it was overrated because I noticed a lot of people online saying it was like the best match of the year, and I'm like, whoa, come on.
Okay, no, I would not go that far, but I thought it was a really, really solid opener and a really solid night of wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
I really like the pace that they set.
Like, people on the internet call it like match of the year. Like, it's a little overblown, but if you step back and think about it for a second too, it's like, well, when was the last time did we see like Matt Sydal in such a big spot, right? So it could be possibly like, oh, we never saw this out of Matt Sydal, you know, like this is like we never he always had it in him, to be honest. And
I always felt that way too. I think maybe it was just people underestimating what he could actually do with someone like a Kenny Omega.
I mean, I've done it. I've done it on the podcast too. Like I wasn't so sure on Matt Sydal either. So
he had a big spot, a big break a while back against Cody Rhodes, and it was the most boring match. Not the most boring match. It was just a match full of botches.
Yeah, no, it was terrible.
Terrible match. So it just goes to show the difference between him wrestling Kenny Omega and him wrestling Cody Rhodes. Both great wrestlers, but for whatever reason, that match was terrible.
Well, also, Kenny Omega has worked with Matt Sydal before in NJPW, so they have a bit of a chemistry.
That makes sense, yeah, because it did seem harder hitting than a lot of Matt's other matches that I've seen recently.
For sure,
it was fantastic. It was really
they played off each other very well, and clearly it shows that, you know, they've had some experience with each other, and they know what they can do, what they like to do. So it was good.
Regarding the second half of the question, when he went for the 3 count at the very end, when Matt Sydal had Kenny Omega pinned, I swear to God, the referee actually had to stop his hand from hitting the mat because it was that close. That if the referee did not stop his hand from hitting the mat, Matt Sydal would have won the match.
Yeah.
Question number 3. Why? No, Aaron, this question is specifically for you. Why did Impact have one of its lowest rated episodes if Kenny Omega was wrestling on the show? The viewership dropped this week to 116,000 viewers after last week's slight increase of 146,000.
Which is funny because did Kenny Omega make an appearance last week?
No, that's what I'm saying. When Kenny Omega showed up on the show, the viewership dropped.
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna speak from like for me personally, like I don't need to watch Impact as much, even if Kenny Omega is on it, because to be honest, what Kenny Omega has been doing on Impact so far is kind of useless. there's like really no point for him to be on that show, and does very little to like advance any sort of like storyline, because I know in the long, like in the long term of it is that he wants to beat Rich Swann and get the Impact Championship, but I mean the match is already set in stone, and I don't know, man. It's not worth my time.
You know what? I'm so stupid. I just figured it out.
What?
I'm Mr. Basketball. What have I been doing all week? I've been watching March Madness. It's got to be. Tuesday's a big day for basketball.
That too.
Okay.
It is March Madness.
There you go.
You know what, Mr. Omega? You're off the hook this week, but I'm going to check the ratings next week, okay? What was the highlight of the week? Was it watching the Dark Order perform Darby Allin's theme song, I Fell on BTE, or fill in the blank?
John Silver practicing how to avoid the coffin drop on Dynamite. That's pretty good.
Yeah, that was really good.
If you haven't watched BTE this week, I highly recommend it. That segment was incredible. It was all filmed in black and white. It starred -1, the Dark Order, John Silver at the forefront.
It was basically a sweeted version of one of Darby's little art films, and I just love everything about it. Are you guys watching John Silver's YouTube channel? I know there's way too many things to watch.
What?
No.
Yes, a
Yes,
channel?
he's doing a bit called Silver Screen where it's him and other AEW wrestlers who just like reenact scenes from movies. They're mostly comedies. I guess it's just like John Silver's favorite movies, basically.
Yeah, the first one was Anchorman, right?
Yeah, I haven't watched all of them. I watched the Beer Fest one, not knowing, like, not actually having seen Beer Fest, so I wasn't sure what was going on. And then I was like, what movie is this? This feels like a Broken Lizard sketch. I'm like, oh, okay. Yeah, it is a Broken Lizard sketch. Yeah, so it felt in line with that, and I really enjoyed it.
Yeah. Doom, 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 doom. Yeah, this whole acapella.
Yeah, and having Stu, the one with the most noticeable accent, do most of the narration singing. Mwah. Great choice.
Sammy's blog was amazing this week also. Did we have a great squash match once again this week? And if so, Aaron, are you ready to tell me that I am right, you are wrong, and AEW knows how to perfect the squash matches week after week on Dynamite?
You got to remind me, who was the squash match again?
I thought the squash match was Hangman Page versus Cesar.
Cesar Bononi?
That's what I said, Cesar. I call him Cesar. That's my nickname for him. Because look, it was a squash match. It wasn't one of the squash matches that last like 10 seconds, but it was still a squash.
Yeah. I mean,
it's an AEW squash.
He did give Cesar Bononi a couple of more spots than whoever Cody Rhodes fought last week. Was it last week?
Yeah.
Yeah, I forgot his name now.
Like, I think it's good to have at least one, not every week, but it's good to have one in an episode because it helps with the pacing. You bring the guy out, you show him off to the audience, maybe a first-time viewer who's never seen Hangman Page. Plus, he's way bigger than Page, and yet Page just controlled the entire match. I thought it was great.
He looked ridiculously dominant.
It certainly does help with the pacing, and when I think about it, it does certainly help boost the wrestlers' rankings, because there are times I forget that the rankings is a thing in AEW. So
I completely forgot about the rankings.
Yeah, exactly. like I just got reminded of the rankings when they talked about Tay Conti, and I was like, oh, it's true. But I'll add more to it like when we get to that spot.
Okay, we had 3 great promos this week. One from Britt Baker, one from MJF, and one from Eddie Kingston and Jon Moxley. Which of the 3 do you think was the best?
I think I'm going to have to give it again to Kingston and Moxley. It just makes my heart sing every time they're on screen together. It doesn't even matter what they say or what it's about. It's just like the natural chemistry between them just makes me so happy. But yeah, the Britt Baker one was also extremely good. There are a lot of talk spots and a lot of good promos, but those were definitely the 2 that stuck out in my mind.
Looking at the list, I would say for me, I would say Britt Baker number 1 overall. Like she definitely had the best promo, even better than Eddie Kingston and Jon Moxley for me.
I agree. I thought Eddie Kingston and Jon Moxley were just as good as last week, but it felt sort of the same.
It was a little samey.
Well, exactly.
Yeah. But the Britt one was something special, and it was exceptionally good.
Right. The thing about MJF is I still respect the dude, but so long as he's part of a faction called the Pinnacle, I just can't give him any more awards. Because that is still the stupidest name for any faction ever. Like, I just can't get over how stupid it is. I don't know why people like it. I like the faction. I like those dudes in a faction. I like everything about it except for the name.
I think he did a good job of trying to get it over, but
well, I think he did. I think the well, I don't know if you would call it the social media team, but whoever does the graphics, I think they've done a great job all week long with these amazing images of the Pinnacle, like standing on top of a mountain or whatever, like these great images to kind of show that they are on top of the world right now. But it still sounds so stupid.
Yeah, my husband was saying their logo looks like it's advertising some kind of spring water or something.
Yeah.
I gotta make an image and troll MJF again this week. Okay, so by the way, you should follow our Twitter account, Talk AEW Podcast. Yes, Talk AEW Podcast. Follow our Twitter account because I'm going to start releasing a lot of images and I'm going to start trolling Mr. MJF. Okay, is Cranky Frankie the best pick for Christian to wrestle first in AEW?
I would say so. I mean, clearly they've had history too in TNA, so why not go
Yeah,
with a familiar face?
that's kind of the only reason I can think of behind it. Like, honestly, it
Mm-hmm.
seems like kind of a lateral move, but on the other hand, if like he was looking for someone he knows who can take care of him in the ring for his big
Yeah.
comeback, you know, that makes sense. Is it a match that makes me really excited? Can't say so. I'm, it'll be fine, it'll be good, but it's not what got me excited about Christian being in AEW.
Yeah. Well, like for me, I'm just happy that he's finally going to step into the ring because I just, I love seeing Christian. I love to see Christian wrestle.
Yeah.
I mean, my first reaction when he announced when he took the challenge and to fight, what's his name again? Kazarian.
Yeah.
Yes.
Frankie.
Frankie Kazarian. Like my first reaction, I just looked over at my wife. I'm like, "So are you excited? You're happy now? Like he's gonna wrestle?" So
yeah, clearly it's because they have history. They are friends. I guess he trusts him in the ring. It's not really exciting, but whatever. Maybe it's going to be a really good match. We'll see.
mm-hmm.
Yeah,
right,
it's the guys who know each other, so they'll find a way to make it entertaining. But like I don't think any of us are like, oh yeah, this is exactly where I want this to go.
The next question is directed to you, Mariko. Was it the right decision to let Shawn Spears get the pin and the win in the match, the triple threat match?
110%. We haven't seen the guy in months. He needs something to make him stand out and remind us that he's actually a good wrestler. And I love the chemistry between him and FTR. I thought their styles worked really well together. He felt more aggressive to me in this match, even though I feel that like that's what he's been trying to do for a while in AEW, but I feel like he's finally getting there. And it made me really happy to see him get the pin.
Let him get a head start. I feel like this whole Pinnacle thing and Shawn Spears is really and Shawn Spears working with these guys is really just to get like Shawn Spears like over with the crowd. So good on them.
Good luck. I know you guys love him. He's a good wrestler. I don't have anything against him. It's just going to be hard. People just don't like him for some reason.
Let him work. That's all I'm going to say. Let him work. See what you got with him.
Who was it this week that said, I don't know if it was JR, but someone said, no, he's a really good wrestler. He's one of the most dangerous wrestlers in AEW. Like they were really trying to emphasize how good he is.
That sounds like something JR would say.
I think so.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. Did you see him and his Shawn Spears? This was from a while ago, but Chris Van Vliet went to his wrestling school and just got chopped the fuck up. Yeah, Shawn Spears does not hold back. Like that's tough fucker.
I just want to add like something about this match though. It's like it's nothing with Shawn Spears, but is it me or does like everyone chop the crap out of like Brian Pillman Jr.?
Oh yeah, he was getting murdered last night.
Every time he gets in the ring with Dax, he just gets blasted by a chop, and I'm starting to like see that regularly between those two. So I'm just like, what the hell? Is there something going on between them?
I never noticed. I'm gonna have to keep an eye out.
Oh, dude, he gets blasted, man. Holy crap. Anyway.
Yeah, I think it's more of just like giving the young kid his chops, like, his bumps or whatever. Like, it's some kind of a hazing ritual for the legacy guy. Yeah.
Okay, 4 more questions. Regarding the Lucha Brothers, Young Bucks, Brandon Cutler, and what is his name again?
Laredo Kid.
Yeah.
Thank you. So that match, well, not really that match, but the post-match, the aftermath. So once again, the Young Bucks prove to me at least, that they cannot act. They cannot act. They can't sell a storyline. Am I wrong? Like, they're the worst actors. I mean, I made fun of Matt Sydal last week, not so much because of his acting, just because for whatever reason he can't work a promo. But these dudes, they try so hard to work a promo, and no matter how hard they try, I don't know. I can't explain it. It's terrible.
Because they always come off as snarky. That is my thing. Because like on BTE, they always come off as like arrogant, like, you know, dick bags. But I mean, it's hard to take them seriously on Dynamite. You know, like they always come off as like arrogant, like douches on BTE. So I don't know.
They themselves, the actual characters, the wrestlers, the real people standing in the ring because they're basically playing themselves.
Mm-hmm.
It's not too much of a stretch to just imagine yourself being pissed off at Kenny Omega, who really is your friend in real life. It's not, we're not asking them to do Shakespeare, for God's sake.
Yeah.
Like, it feels like they don't even believe in the storyline.
It could be the face. I mean, I don't know. I really can't explain it.
It's the facial expressions.
Yeah.
It's the way they deliver dialogue. It's everything.
They spent so much time being ironic and living in sort of the ironic space of wrestling, which is most of wrestling. But like in a lot of ways, wrestling is a very ironic sport. And yeah, like it's hard to be sincere when you're always ironic. Like, and then having to do something sincerely, like, yeah, I don't think they want to. I think they would rather be goofy and ironic and not have to put you know, their real life into it, and which is fair. Like, you know, not especially as a wrestler, like you're not an actor, you're not like doing the method, you know. But yeah, they're not great actors. They're great wrestlers. They had a pretty good promo, but they're not good actors.
I would say if you go into professional wrestling, you are a performer. So therefore you need to perform. And with that comes a bit of acting. I feel like they are okay. Put it this way. Look at Kenny Omega. He walks out. He's like, first match. Why am I first match? He's flipping out, right? Like, why is the superstar the champion? The main event, the greatest wrestler in the world. Why is he the opening match? He believes in his character. And the Young Bucks play the Young Bucks, and so it's like they don't know how to change the excitement, enthusiasm in their performance. It's always on the same level.
I mean that is true. I mean, you said it yourself. I mean, the Young Bucks play the Young Bucks. Like, it's hard for me to picture like Young Bucks being like this sincere.
Are we saying that the Young Bucks are like the most boring people on this planet?
I would say the most boring because clearly what they put, what the product, what they produce in ring is pretty darn good. But I'm not gonna sit here and defend them saying like I could watch them for like 20 minutes, cut a promo. I'm like, hell no.
I'm just saying, if you're gonna go out for drinks, right? You're gonna choose John Silver. You're gonna choose maybe even Darby Allin, even if he doesn't talk. You're gonna choose Sting. You're gonna choose Brian Cage. You're not going to want to go out for drinks with Matt and Nick from the Young Bucks.
Well, I should point out once again that both Darby and the Bucks are sober. They don't drink.
Okay, whatever. They're going to sip their tea at a bar. We're going to have conversation. We're going to have I'm going to have Bloody Caesar. I don't know about you. And I'm just saying, I'm going to sit there drinking my Bloody Caesar and I'm going to fall asleep talking to these dudes.
Well, this is consider like if the Young Bucks stay as the Young Bucks and not be like too seem so emotionally distraught about losing their friends, like I'm okay.
Aaron, you're avoiding the question. My question is, do you want to go for drinks?
I don't want emotionally distraught Young Bucks. I'd rather have Darby Allin then. So
all right, moving along. Three more questions. Okay, so Jade once again steals the show with her promo or her video package, I should say. She steals the show. I could not stop laughing at the end of the video package when she delivers, I guess, her tagline, "Get in the ring with that bitch." I was like, what? Wait, who? What, like, get in the ring with that bitch. Which bitch? No, like
that bitch.
Which one? What are you talking about?
That one.
No, she took her DNA test. She's 100% that bitch.
Or because it sounds like she's talking about someone else.
It could be
It's
Red
not
Velvet.
like get in the ring with me, bitch.
Was she
get in the ring with me because
it's a
I'm
reference to the Lizzo song.
Oh.
I took a DNA test. I'm 100% that bitch.
Now I get it.
Oh boy.
Now I get it. No, but like I was trying to figure it out because like I could swear I've heard this before.
Clearly, we don't listen to Lizzo.
Radio station. Come on, man.
Is Red Velvet not yet signed with AEW? Because she was in a big match.
She was signed today, officially.
Oh, so why does it take
they
long?
did the announcement. That's the thing about these signings, because I feel like there are people who have been signed for months who don't actually get an announcement until they remember that they signed them or something. Which I feel like is what happened with Red Velvet. Like, there's no way she's doing that giant match with Cody and Shaq and isn't having a full-time contract. Like, she had a contract. They just weren't allowed to talk about it for whatever reason.
Mm-hmm.
I have a feeling that for them to give you an official contract where you were signed on full-time, there's a huge difference in salary. There's already a lot of people in the roster, and they're not exactly making money from, live events because they only let in about like 1,000 people. So I guess maybe it's because they're waiting for the pandemic to chill out and calm down. We'll see. Yeah. So last question, is Ty Conti the most improved former WWE, I think I said one too many W's. Anyways, star in AEW?
100%.
Most improved. Compare her to Miro, for example.
I mean, she was good, but she was clearly developmental talent. The other thing is, where she was wrestling at NXT, they were so stacked with incredible women. She literally just got lost in the shuffle, and she knew it. That's why she asked for her release.
Yeah, for sure. It's what Mariko said, like the women's like division in NXT is pretty stacked, and it's easy for like some like supers or some stars to like lose their footing in the crowd and kind of get lost in the shuffle. But I'm super happy that Tay Conti is getting a push now, and she has 100% like gone better from like the first time I saw her in AEW anyway. Because like the first time I saw her in AEW, like her first match, I can't remember who against, but I just remember thinking to myself, I'm like, wow, she's like really, it's a little rough on the edges watching her, but like compared her to now, like from last night's match, I'm like really, really good.
The training is obviously much, much better, more intense right now.
Well, considering too, it's definitely smaller than what WWE has in the Performance Center. So it's if anything, it goes to show like how with little resources that AEW has, like how they can bring up this young talent compared to like WWE,
Yeah, and I mean, she's also getting to wrestle on camera a lot more than she was at NXT between Dark and Dynamite and everything, and doing the occasional tag thing with Tay Conti. Or not Tay Conti, she's Tay Conti with Anna Jay. The one thing I actually have a question: do you think that Tay Conti's push was the one that was meant for Anna Jay, who is currently injured?
I thought about that, but I think they were trying to push them as a tag team. And then she got injured, and then it was easy to move her up because she had already won a bunch of matches. And so now I believe she's a number one contender for the championship, which again does not mean anything because AEW rankings don't really mean anything, even though we have rankings. For anyone who doesn't know, you have to be in the top 5 to get a shot. So it's not, you don't have to be in first place or second place. You just have to be in the top 5. So for example, if Matt Sydal is ranked number 5 and Chris Jericho is ranked number 2, Matt Sydal could get a shot at the championship before Chris Jericho. What's confusing about it is they always allow wrestlers to challenge for the belt. For example, John Silver, which we'll talk about later, because Darby Allin directly challenges him. The champion challenges the challenger, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, and then of course we have the Battle Royale and the tournaments and so on and so forth. So they still have a ranking system, but it's very rarely, if ever, used. I can't remember it being used in 2021.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like they use it when it's convenient in a way. So I mean, especially for like the Tay Conti thing. I mean, they certainly like talk about like her ranking a lot during her match. The
Yeah,
announcers
it
were
is
talking about her ranking.
also a way of kind of legitimizing a wrestler and also having something to talk about while they're wrestling.
Yeah.
All right, well, that's about it. That is Ricky's rapid fire questions. It seems to get longer and longer each and every week.
All right, we're going to take a quick break. And when we come back, we are going to be talking about Cody.
You should be thanking me because you will forever be remembered now. You got to be a part of the history that I wrote with my own blood. And then you had the audacity to stand here in my company, in my division, and say that you put the women on the map. Then why is everybody talking about me? And I don't need the praise and adoration of all you legends and experts telling me that I'm worthy now, that I'm a star now. Mick Foley, thanks for the thumbs up. Except it took you 20 years to become a hardcore legend, and I did it in one night.
And we are back. You are still listening to Talk AEW, the official wrestling podcast of GumaStop.com and TiltMagazine.net. And we are going to ask another question. Is Cody a heel who just doesn't know it yet?
100%. Damn it. You have QT Marshall out there pouring his heart out, talking about how much he works, can't hang out with his wife. 100%.
But this is the thing that left me confused last night, and I know it left a lot of people confused. We all thought they were building QT Marshall as a heel.
Yeah, they started pronouncing his name Marshall, which is the heel pronunciation of his name. He's been a jerk to all kinds of people.
But what if that's just like passive aggressiveness?
Passive aggressiveness is healing.
Yeah, but based on what we saw last night, they kind of played it like he's actually the babyface and he's lovable and we should feel sorry for him because he's being used and abused. Mm-hmm. And Cody, the new Triple H, aka the new Miz, walks out. He's got a new a new reality show. He's like Mr. Big Shit wearing his like $10,000 suit. He's always putting himself over. And he talks to QT Marshall like he's a kid. He's like, I'm going to give you an exhibition match. You know what that means? It means that if I put you in a submission move, I'm going to let you go. I'm not going to hurt you. Like he's talking to him like he's a joke.
But yeah, well, like Cody Rhodes is coming off as if it's like, well, because you're my best friend, if I'm going to do the figure four on you, if I get the opportunity to do the figure four, I'll do it, but I'll let you go. Like you're supposed. He's the way he talks about it, like doing these things, like as if it's like because you're my best friend. Like it does come off a little bit of like condescending. So
more like a lot.
So that's why it's like it's really
like Aaron, you and I we're gonna go play Super Smash, but don't worry, I'm gonna let you knock me around a bit. I might let you win one match.
Yeah.
You want to play Super Smash Brothers with me tonight? Like, let's play Melee on the GameCube. I'll let you win maybe one match, and I'll let you maybe hit me, but I'll take it easy on you, Aaron. I'm gonna talk to you all
I won't use any blue shells at all.
Yeah. If I'm falling off the edge, I won't double jump.
Do you know? And like,
I totally get it.
The funny thing is that everyone who started this damn company, Kenny Omega, Cody Rhodes, the Young Bucks, except for Hangman Adam Page, the only sane, charismatic, good-hearted person
Yes,
of the bunch, they all are better as heels. Each and every single one of them.
that is true because like in NJPW, they're. I mean, aside from Hangman Adam Page always felt like he was just there, considering too that he was part of the Bullet Club. So, yeah, I don't know.
So
Yeah.
what do you think's going to happen? Like, I'm confused now. I mean, I think he's going to kick his ass and win. I think
Yeah,
QT Marshall is going to win.
No,
Oh.
I think Cody's gonna win,
Yeah,
and
I think
then
Cody's gonna
QT's gonna
win.
get mad and hurt Cody, and then maybe that'll be Cody's paternity leave or whatever, like I don't know, the press tour for his reality show or whatever.
Maybe,
But
or
I think it's again like the Nightmare Family. Like, are they heels? Are they baby faces? It's the same thing with Brandy. Like, she was a face, but then she was mean, but then she was nice, but she was still mean to Shaq for reasons that I didn't understand. And then Cody was acting heely and arrogant, but okay, that's just because he's the most awesome. And then QT is a heel, but then he cuts this babyface promo against Cody, but Cody's a face, so like, I don't know.
This might be a stupid question, but can he turn heel if he's promoting a reality show? Does it matter?
I don't think so. I mean, the reality show is. I mean, The Miz did a reality show, and he was a moron. I want to say heel, but I just can't. He's just a moron. So I don't know.
The Miz can F off. The thing is, this show is not going to bring any new fans to AEW. There might be AEW fans to check it out, but they're going to have a completely different target audience. It's just a way for them to make additional money.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
100%.
And compete with Totally Divas. That's the market they're going for.
At this point in time, Tony Khan's just going to release his own streaming service. Like, Jesus. There's like 20 shows if you count the YouTube channel.
I don't know if Tony Khan's involved at all with this. I think this is a Rhodes family production.
This is a Rhodes. This is a Cody Rhodes family thing. They filmed the pilot and they sent it to TNT, and TNT was like, "Oh, sure, let's do it."
Because apparently John Cena had an appearance yesterday on Dynamite.
In form of what? The Wipeout banner?
Yes.
Right.
I saw that one. Yeah, I saw that one. Yes.
No, I think Mariko's right. Like, it makes sense. I don't think it's gonna happen that soon. I can't see him having an injury right away. Like, the match is next week, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, because we've been calling Moxley thinking he was gonna like have some kind of weird injury and go off for pat leave, but maybe not.
He's still working.
Yeah. I mean, he is still working, but I mean, so is Renee. Like, she hasn't given birth yet or anything. So,
you know what I would love to see? I would love to see Cody turn heel, and he has to go through each and every single one of the members of the Nightmare Factory, starting with Lee Johnson. And you build a storyline for about 2 to 3 weeks before he leaves. He's left with no friends. He's beaten at the end. He's bloodied. He's battered. And he walks away.
And but that just sounds like the Kenny Omega storyline right now. He's got no friends. I mean, the Good Brothers.
He's got Uncle Creepy.
Yeah.
With their topless photos. I think you can get the poster now on Shop AEW.
Yeah, you could. I considered it a couple of times, hanging in the office. My wife would freak out though. But anyway, I feel like that storyline's already. I mean, the whole going back to like Rick's hypothesis there. I mean, I would not want to see Cody Rhodes go down that road like turning against all his friends because like it's in the process already. I don't know if I want to watch another one of those.
And it kind of felt like that's where they were going with QT. With him, like,
yeah, it did.
Ghosting Dustin and then, like, not backing up other people. And then, yeah, I mean, Cody's involved in another confusing angle. Go figure.
Yeah, exactly.
The thing that confuses me is QT Marshall has been wrestling on Dark and Elevation. He's been kicking people's ass. He's been dominant. And now he's put in an exhibition match against Cody Rhodes, again, as if he's not good enough to actually wrestle Cody in a real match.
Yeah, I mean that is the confusing thing because AEW has been booking so far has been booking QT Marshall as like a huge heel.
That's why I think you guys are wrong and I'm right, and we're going to see. I think QT is going to win because it's an exhibition match, so it won't count in Cody's head. But he's going to get the win because he's going to underestimate QT Marshall's skills in the ring. QT is going to beat him. He's going to be embarrassed, and then that's going to lead to an actual real challenge.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I'm going for.
Yeah, that makes more sense. Kind of draw it out a bit more. This is where we're going with all this.
Well, I mean, it is kind of like there was an article that I read. I mean, clearly they were inspired. Well, Cody Rhodes anyway was inspired by the Zbyszko brothers. So it kind of starts off the same way. So we'll see how it goes.
Okay.
All right, I think it's time for another quick break, and we will get back with the main event.
You know what, Chris? Chris Jericho, I'm a little confused. I figured by now you'd try to come out here and break the walls down. But I guess the only thing you're breaking nowadays is whatever chair you decide to sit on. Oh, you don't like that, Chris, huh? That make you upset? How about you do me a favor? How about you grab all your boys and come out here right now? Oh, wait, silly me, Tony, that's right. You're not going to come out here because you are terrified of us.
Oh, hold on. You decimated them a couple of weeks ago. They are hurt. You know well.
I'm sorry, Tony. Something you wanted to say?
No, never mind.
Yeah. That's what I thought. You giving us the gift of silence is better than anything. But speaking of gifts, boys, next week, boy, do I have the gift of all time for every single one of you. Really? And that gift is for all the future gold we're about to hold because, ladies and gentlemen, when you're in the pinnacle, you are always on top.
The pinnacle.
All right, we are back, and we are going to be talking about the TNT title. What is it? Why is it? Who needs it? Discuss.
It might seem like silly questions, but here's the thing. Like, it's a TV title. It's supposed to be defended on TV. We've seen it defended on pay-per-view events, which I guess technically you're watching a PPV on TV. I know, but I've always thought of a TV title being the title for a television broadcast. In this case, it being the title for Dynamite specifically. Mm-hmm. And I'm glad to see Darby Allin is actually defending his championship because that was one of my big criticisms of him winning the championship belt because he went about 12 weeks never once defending the belt. Mm-hmm. He was too busy fighting Team Taz. So now he's at least defending the championship. And the thing about the TNT Championship matches is they're usually really good matches. You think back when Cody challenged Ricky Starks, and that introduced Ricky into the world of AEW. He challenged Eddie Kingston, or it was more like Eddie challenged Cody, but whatever. And then because of that, we got Eddie Kingston into the world of AEW. Of course, Mr. Brody Lee, the greatest TNT champion who ever lived. Mm-hmm. And then the two great matches between Cody and Brody Lee. And then, of course, the great matches between Cody and Darby Allin. Fantastic, fantastic matches. But this to me should be, I think, reserved only for Dynamite. Or at least for TV, like if they do have an extra TV show. Because I just feel like a pay-per-view is already a big event. And I kind of feel like, I don't know, there's something cool and special about having the belt only defended and reserved specifically for an episode of Dynamite. And Dynamite has featured week after week after week pay-per-view quality matches. So why the hell not?
Mm-hmm. Well, you're not wrong there. Although I don't have too much of a problem seeing the TNT Championship being defended on pay-per-view. When you think about it, there's only like two singles like championship belts. There's only the TNT Championship and AEW Heavyweight Championship. So I mean, would you really want to restrict one of those to TV only?
I get what you're saying, but refresh my memory. Back in the WCW days, the TV title was only for Nitro, right? I can't really remember.
I don't think so. But WCW did have quite a bit of championships. I mean, they had the
US Championship,
the US Championship. They had the World Heavyweight Championship. They had the Cruiserweight Championship.
They had a lot. Hardcore, I think, at one point. I'm not sure.
No, I don't think the hardcore.
Or that was WWE.
Yeah,
hardcore.
WWE is the hardcore one.
Yeah.
No, I don't mind it being occasionally defended on a pay-per-view if the storyline makes sense. The biggest problem is it's just not being defended enough to start with.
Exactly. They're not prizing it as big as it probably should be. So I mean, maybe that's why, because it didn't get much traction during like the whole like Cody Rhodes. It didn't get much traction during the Darby Allin and FTW stint, right?
No, it was barely a feature
of
that whole feud. So I think we're frustrated. Darby's frustrated that he doesn't get to defend it. So yeah, let's get it defended. And then if you want to culminate a big storyline involving the belt in a pay-per-view, cool. But you need to be defending it on TV to start with.
Yeah, okay. I guess you guys are right. It's not a big deal if it's on a pay-per-view. I think the thing is I just want it defended more, and I want storylines revolving around the championship, because I think that's what we've been missing. We've had these great matches, but I think the Cody Brody was the only real storyline that actually revolved around the belt. Like, there was a Cody Darby Allin, but it wasn't really a storyline. It was just kind of like dude challenge dude, and they had a battle.
Yeah.
So, but I mean, we talk about this week after week, like, especially now that they have Elevation, Dark, and a Dynamite and 4 pay-per-view events and one more show on its way. Is it time to introduce a new championship belt? And if so, which would you choose? Would you choose a 3-way tag team belt? Would you choose a women's tag team belt? Would you choose an Intercontinental Championship middleweight belt? Whatever you want to call it. Like, what would we choose? Would we choose a cruiserweight championship? Is the TNT a cruiserweight championship? And also, who should be wrestling for the TNT belt? Like, should a guy like Lance Archer or Brian Cage be fighting for the TNT championship? I mean, I don't think it really matters, but I'm just saying, like, if you had to divide the roster, would you put the big guys gunning for the big belt or just a TV championship? Because the problem. Okay, I don't know. I want to know what you guys think, because I know I'm in love with old school wrestling, and I will never apologize for being in love with old school wrestling. Because sorry, guys like Macho Man Randy Savage and Rick Rude and Jake the Snake and Ric Flair and Dusty Rhodes, I mean, those dudes can rock the mic like no one else, right? Back in the days, you would have a guy like Hogan, and he can hold the belt for an entire year, but you kept everyone busy in these great storylines. Plus, you had the Tag Team Championship, you had the Intercontinental Championship, you had the $1 million belt, you had all of this stuff going on.
Well, plus the Intercontinental was pretty like well
for the first few years.
Yeah, for the first few years, it was a good second place prize possession. So, which I think the TNT title is kind of lacking right now, to be honest.
Because back in the day, and when I say back in the day, I'm not just talking about like 80s. I'm talking about like the 90s, early 2000s. Like, you would have guys like Cena, The Rock, Austin, Hogan, Macho Man, and those dudes would be able to sell out arenas, right?
Yeah.
And nowadays, I feel like a lot of the wrestlers, and this is a good thing, are on the same level. Like you look at the AEW roster, you look at Britt Baker, you look at Eddie Kingston, you look at John Moxley, you look at Kenny Omega, the Young Bucks, Ricky Starks, Brian Cage. These are people that I would pay money for. Maybe not Peter Avalon, you know what I'm saying? But like, you put any of those dudes in a main event, and I'm sold. Sammy, Chris Jericho, the Inner Circle, even the Pinnacle with their stupid ass name.
Yeah.
And I feel like because there's so much great talent and they're all on the same level, there's no sort of like, these are the superstars and everyone else is below, right? It's sort of like in NBA basketball. You got the LeBron James and the Michael Jordans of the world, and they're still all-stars. They have an all-star game, but that's a whole different level. I feel like in wrestling, everyone is like on all-star level on equal ground.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, like there's certainly.
I need to know. Like across the whole board of wrestling, like a guy like Roman Reigns, for example, he's like, I think he's, he's like up there with the John Cena kind of level of superstar.
Yeah, for sure.
But who else?
I do think Kenny is generally at a different level than most of AEW. Let's just be honest.
In terms of popularity or talent, because he's not a household name.
Certainly in popularity, I would say. I think, well...
I mean, for the smart marks, which is the majority, I would venture, of AEW's audience, is the people who like watch New Japan and know who all the indie people are. I mean, certainly not everyone, but I feel like there's more of those people in the AEW fan base than in other companies' fan bases.
I mean, if we're, I mean, speaking that way, like it's true. I mean, like Kenny Omega might not be the household name because like he doesn't like quite transcend wrestling too much. Meaning that he doesn't do like. I mean, if anything,
but
I think
he's the kind of guy like if you watch his match, he makes you into a wrestling fan.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, like Kenny Omega is the one that brought me back into wrestling. To be honest, to be quite honest, like back in HABW. So I mean, if I'm going to compare like big superstars in AEW, like it have to be Cody Rhodes, but only because like he's transcending wrestling right now. He's big and is slowly becoming like a household name because of like the work he does outside of wrestling. So,
when my nephew sat down and started watching some AEW with me, the first wrestler who grabbed his full attention, guess who it was?
Kenny Omega?
Nope.
Luchasaurus?
Nope. Darby Allin.
Okay.
Okay.
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if Darby Allin is the most popular wrestler in AEW.
Yeah.
I don't know how you can prove it, but
I would certainly agree that. I mean, like, is he the most popular wrestler now? I don't know, but if he has the potential to be, in AEW, but I would certainly say he has the potential of becoming a huge superstar if given the right push.
He's the dude who all the little kids show up dressing like, and not just at a wrestling event, but even like on Halloween or something, right?
Yeah, it was him and Orange Cassidy. Those were the Halloween costumes.
I find the TNT Championship an interesting title because it's like, okay, like put it this way. If I were to tell you that there's a slight possibility that Darby Allin is going to wrestle Kenny Omega for the championship and beat him, would you actually believe me if I had some inside knowledge, some sources?
No,
you would be like, no, your sources are full of shit, or they don't know what they're talking about, right? But if I said Darby Allin is going to wrestle Orange Cassidy and he's going to win, you're going to be like, yeah, not just because it's Darby Allin, but just because it's the TNT Championship.
Yeah, and it's appropriate for Orange Cassidy to be in the TNT Championship. Like, I think it is the closest thing they have to, a mid-card title. It's what you need on your way to becoming a big, big star, which is why they put it on Darby Allin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the reason why I bring up this conversation is because it used to be wrapped around the waist of Brody Lee, one of the biggest men in the AEW roster, if not the biggest at the time. And later, guys like Brian Cage wrestled for the championship. So I'm going to be curious to see who wrestles Darby Allin next. I mean, it was great to see John Silver and Darby Allin. I thought it was a fantastic match. I mean, I freaked out when he knocked Darby Allin out of the ring with like a shoulder tackle.
Yeah,
that was crazy. Incredible. That match was amazing. Like, John Silver has never looked fiercer or more intimidating.
Well, it's unfortunate though because John Silver did suffer an injury during that match.
Oh no!
Yeah, he took like when he took a bump outside of the ring, like when he fell like on the other side of the barricades, he actually dislocated his shoulder. So
oh shit!
Yeah. So so he might be out for a while. Hopefully he can recover soon.
Well, regardless, he wasn't supposed to win the match. It sucks he got injured, but he still managed to, follow the what they choreographed and planned went to the very end, to like the very last 2 minutes. There was 2 minutes left on the clock.
Yeah.
He gets the win, Darby Allin, and then of course all hell breaks loose. Sting's in the ring, Matt Hardy's in the ring, Matt Hardy's posse's in the ring, Dark Order's in the ring, like everyone's in the ring. And I'm just like, I'm wondering, does this mean we're going to get a cinematic match between Matt Hardy and Sting now? It seems like it's a possibility. This is not only a great match, but it's a match that opened up a ton of new storylines moving forward between the Dark Order, between Sting, between Matt Hardy, Darby Allin, John Silver, etc., etc.
Yeah, it's possible. Although I feel like Lance Archer and Sting in a cinematic match would be more realistic. If anything, it just seems that Matt Hardy is more set on getting the TNT Championship, though. I mean, that would be my.
I don't think Matt Hardy's interested in championships in AEW. To be honest, I think he's just interested in being a character and helping the younger guys get over.
Yeah, it's a possibility too. I mean, we'll see. Like,
because has Matt Hardy challenged for a championship so far? I don't think so. He's had plenty of feuds, but he's never challenged for a belt.
That's true. Yeah, he never seemed that.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Yeah, he never seemed to.
Yeah.
That's what I love about. This is what I love about Matt Hardy. Like, he comes into AEW. He has his he has like several personas. He goes through several characters. He doesn't put himself in a spotlight and bury the younger guys. He's actually trying to benefit AEW and helping these younger guys, like, for example, Private Party, improve, put them in a spotlight. And he's just there to be a performer, entertain. He knows he's older. He's not in the best of shape like he used to be. So he does what he knows he could do best.
Yeah. Well, which is what a lot of these legend wrestlers that are coming to AEW have said that they want to do on interviews and stuff, is to bring up new talent. So it's good. It's good on them.
So do you think we're going to get Mick Foley?
You know what? I don't know, but I certainly would love to see.
We got Vince to give his kid a job. I don't think it's likely.
Although I'd love to see Britt Baker against Mick Foley.
Jesus.
Oh, by the way, did you hear Britt Baker on the podcast with Renee?
Oh, not yet.
No, not yet.
Oh, very good. Very, very good stuff.
Yeah.
She gets some juicy stuff, man. She starts talking about her husband, Cole, him
Oh.
coming to AEW. His best friends are the Young
What?
Bucks and Kenny Omega. She
Yeah.
wants to work in the same company as him.
Yeah, I'll have to check that out tomorrow.
She's like, I know this is going to be controversial, but, and of course she says it.
Yeah.
Yeah, great interview. I like that podcast, man.
Oh, it's really good.
Yeah, Renee Paquette is a great interviewer.
All right, well, another great TNT Championship match. I love Darby Allin. I think, like I said, he's like my favorite wrestler right now. Sorry, Sammy, you've moved to second place.
I mean, I guess to end the whole thing, but I certainly hope that moving forward they will put more prestige into that TNT Championship.
Yeah, I mean, just getting it on TV more and actually having it defended and having some stakes to it, you know.
Yeah, exactly. Like put some stakes.
That's all you
into
need
it.
to do. You just need to put it on TV.
Yeah. Because like I said, like when you think about it, you only have 2 singles championships, so you gotta make it work.
Well, there is a championship belt in Sammy's vlog.
Oh,
Come
yes.
on. That's a YouTube thing. It's like
Pam only recently had to relinquish.
Mr. Brian Cage walks around with the championship over his shoulder.
Yeah,
Well,
was he going to defend that?
So here's I heard oh my god, was it God, it wasn't the Wrestling Inc. podcast. I can't remember who I was listening to. Sorry, I was at work and I was browsing through a bunch of podcasts and like whatever. Someone said this earlier today. They said that I thought this was a great storyline. So what if he splits from Team Taz, which seems likely, and he fights Ricky, Will Hobbs, and eventually Hook, and Hook wins back his dad's championship. It seems unlikely because Hook is so green and young, but it would be an interesting angle, right? He wins back his dad's championship.
It's an interesting angle, but who
Maybe
cares about
not
the
for
FTW?
now, but down the line. Yeah, I like it.
Aaron, I know what you're going to say. Who cares about the championship? Nobody, but it's a great storyline, is what I'm saying. It's like when they bring in a stipulation match, you don't care about the stipulation between Matt Hardy and Adam Page because you don't care how much money they make or don't make, but it's a story. It's an angle.
It is an angle. I'll give you that.
Watch Sammy's vlog this week, people, if you haven't seen it. It was really good. He's getting better, or I don't know who I think he does the editing, but at this point in time, he might have help. He might have hired someone, but it's getting better. It's improving, and the quality's better. The editing's better. The storylines are better. It's funnier. Watching Marco Stunt meet Big Show, like you said, Mariko, was great. Seeing some of the, by the way, the trailer, oh my God, like that trailer is like a 5-star hotel.
Dude.
Yeah,
that's yes.
That's only for Paul White, the Paul Whites and the Jerichos and not everybody's getting that level of trailer.
Well, it looked like John Moxley and Eddie Kingston were in a similar trailer. So
yeah, for sure. Yeah. But John Moxley he's huge.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Like I don't think Marco Stunt's gonna have a trailer. Like they're gonna give Marco Stunt like a little baby tricycle, for crying out loud.
Oh.
I shouldn't make fun of Marco Stunt because I feel so bad for him right now. Like he was traumatized this week because I don't know if you watched the Sammy vlog, but someone flashed him.
That really happened.
Someone flashed him.
Oh, it really happened?
Yeah.
I thought it was the kind of thing that I was like watching. I'm like, this must have really happened because he's not even there and everybody's talking about it.
Really? I thought it was just like a joke.
And freaking Brandy when she makes the penis
in her flasher jacket.
Yeah.
I was like, I thought that was going to be like the reveal where she was the flasher, like flashing her baby belly or something. And I don't know, but okay, whatever. Just waggling her fingers. I don't know. All right. I think that's going to do it for us. Once again, you've been listening to Talk AEW. We want to thank all of you for listening wherever you are listening. I want to thank for joining us, Mr. Aaron Santos.
No problemo.
And Mr. Ricky D.
And just a reminder, you can listen to the podcast on Podbean, iTunes, YouTube, Spotify, Deezer, Listen Notes, iHeartRadio, Pandora. Yes, it is everywhere, but most importantly, it is over at goombastomp.com. Check the wrestling section, check the podcast section, and follow us on Twitter, Talk AEW Podcast.
Have a great week.
Training starts right now.
I don't sleep because my head is on fire. I hate creeps and I hate liars. You want the grave-kept secret that I'll never tell? I'm up in heaven, but I came from hell.
I like worms. So did you. I like worms. So did you. I like worms.